Come along now to Melody Roundup. The strays are all counted and branded, so join us for some songs with a Western flavor. And here's just the guy to sing them for you, Gene Autry.
Had me two trusty pistols, had me two leather holsters hanging by my side. Had a two-gated pony till the day matrimony took my bridle and gave me a bride. I was riding down the trail to Santa Fe when I met a pretty gal along the way. I said, ain't we met before? She just drew her 44, so I tipped my hat and slowly rode away. I went riding down the trail to Santa Fe when I met another gal along the way. I said, baby, you're a dream. She said, touch me and I'll scream. So I tipped my hat and slowly rode away. I rode away, 'cause there wasn't no excuse for me to stay. I tipped my hat, and that was that. Yes, I left that kitten sitting where she sat. I continued down the trail to Santa Fe when I met another gal along the way. I said, are you taking two? And she said, partner, I'll take you. So I tipped my hat and settled down to stay. I settled down, settled down. How I cursed the day I ever rode to town. What a life, what a life. Ever since the day I took myself a wife. If you ever ride the trails of Santa Fe and you meet a pretty gal along the way, better stop and think of me. I was happy, I was free when I tipped my hat and slowly rode away. I tipped my hat and slowly rode away.
I'll say that's a good song, Cousin Gene, and a good example of cowboy etiquette.
Etiquette.
Yeah, I guess you can always trust a cowhand to do the right thing at the right time.
Sure enough, Lou. Broken-hearted, sad and blue. Since the day you said that we were through, in my memory are dreams that linger, precious dreams I thought I shared with you. Now you've gone, the skies are gray, and the past seems only yesterday. Once we said our love would live forever. It's a shame to have to end this way. To my heart you'll always have the key. Say you're mine so I won't always be in love and broken-hearted, sad and blue. One more chance is all I ask of you. Can't you see that we belong together? Please come back, I'm so in love with you. Well, thank you, folks. I'm sure glad you liked it.
Oh, I really like that. Say, Gene, where'd you pick up that tune anyway?
Why, a couple of the boys here on the ranch, Two Gun Bill Birch and Killer Cotton wrote that song.
They really get themselves out of tune. Now, say, Gene,
What's the matter with old Johnny Bond today?
sitting over there in the corner looking like he's lost his best friend.
Well, sir, I don't know what's the matter with him, Lou, but a couple of the boys said that he's been acting like a sick calf ever since he got a package in the mail a couple of days ago.
What was in the package?
I don't know. Why don't we call him over here and see if we can find out, huh?
Good idea. Go ahead.
Johnny. Hey, Johnny.
He's coming, but doesn't look very happy about it.
Hello, Gene. Hello. How you do? Say, boy, you look lower than a cowboy's bank account. What's the trouble? Gene, have you ever been in love? Johnny, don't tell me that you finally, hopelessly, completely, and horribly. But falling in love, well, it's supposed to be wonderful. It's supposed to make you happy and gay. You ain't never been in love, I can tell that.
Johnny, what happened?
Well, I guess I might as well tell you, boys. A couple of weeks ago, I got a letter from this here gal I used to know, and she tells me that she misses me, and do I miss her, and
Will I write to her and all that sort of mush, you know how it is.
And did you?
Well, of course I did. Poor little gal sitting back there pining her heart out for me. Well, anyways, I writes her back and tell her that I miss her and ask her will she send me something to remind me of her which I can hang up on my wall.
Did she do it?
It arrived in a package last Tuesday.
It? What was it?
Picture of her husband and 3 brats. Now, wait.
Well, Johnny, you know there's an old saying. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
That's true unless you happen to be a cow.
What happens if you're a cow?
How'd I know? Won't you answer a cow?
You know, Gene, the whole trouble with Johnny is that he doesn't understand women.
I suppose you do, Lou Crosby.
Well, yes and no.
What do you mean, yes and no?
I mean, yes, I know nothing about them.
That's just what I thought. Well, suppose that both of you fellows just step aside and make room for the Cass County boys who are going to sing, oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming?
Oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming? Why did I ever have to go? Oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming? 'Cause there's a sheriff back there looking for me high and low and high and low. Oh, give me back my prairie with the cattle and wild game, where the hills are nice and curvy and the women are the same. Where cowboys all yell whoop me while a lariat they twirl, and timber wolves yell timber when they see a pretty girl. Oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming? Why did I ever have to go? Oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming? 'Cause there's a sheriff back there looking for me high and low and high and low. My Uncle Max in Cheyenne claims he's honest as the sun. He worked 6 years in a bathhouse and he never took a one. The sheriff finally got him and no more will Uncle roam. They call him working in a bank and taking samples home. Oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming? Why did I ever have to go? Oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming? 'Cause there's a sheriff back there looking for me high and low and high and low. And sheriff, don't allow me back there no more. Sheriff, don't allow me back there no more. I don't care what the sheriff will allow. I'm going back there anyhow. Why did I ever come back to old Wyoming? Should have kept roaming high and low.
That was really fine there, boys. You know, Lou,
Yeah?
the Cass County boys have been singing so long together, they're beginning to look like each other.
That's what the terrible triplet.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, you might be...
Say, isn't that old Smiley Burnett edging over this way carrying a bucket?
Yeah, and look at the way that boy's dressed, wearing a tie and a brand new suit.
Mm-hmm. Say, Smiley.
Oh, hello there, fellers. Howdy doodle. Say, you'll have to excuse me because I'm in a hurry.
In a hurry. Where you going?
I'm going out to milk a cow.
In that suit?
No, in a pail, you lumphead.
Say, Smiley, you know that you don't know anything about milking a cow. Why, I'll bet you don't even know what side of a cow to put the pail on.
Well, that depends on what you want, milk or cream.
No. As a cowhand, you'd make a good fireman.
I've been one of them, too.
What?
A fireman.
You, a fireman?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what do you think you're laughing at, Lou Crosby?
The picture of you as a fireman.
Yeah, well, what's so funny about that?
Oh, a fireman's got to be brave.
I'm brave.
A fireman's got to be alert.
I'm alert.
A fireman's got to be strong.
I'm
A
strong.
fireman's got to be fast, aggressive, and trim.
I'm strong.
There you go again, Smiley. Why is it that you can't speak the truth? Now, why don't you admit that you never were a fireman?
No, I ain't gonna do no such thing. Why, I remember one time we was called out on a 200 alarm fire.
A 200 alarm fire?
Yep, alarm clock factory. When we got there, the place was in flames and smoke was pouring out of every door and window, and still we couldn't get the fire out. Finally, the chief, he says, well, there ain't nothing we can do. We better blow. So I blew. And I blew so hard I just blew the fire out.
Smiley, that's a lot of hot air.
I'll say it was. The fire was in Texas, and I blew so hard it melted all the snow off the ground in Chicago.
I still say that's a lot of hot air. Say, tell you what. Why don't you use a little of that extra hot air and blow the folks a song?
Well, I was just going to do that anyway. Here she goes. Well, might have gone a-fishing. I got to thinking it over. The road to the river.
It's a mighty long way.
It's a mighty long way. It must be the season. No rhyme or no reason. Just taking it easy.
It's a lazy day.
It's my lazy day. Just you never mind calling. For I ain't a-comin'.
He ain't a-comin'.
Just get you on by me.
Stay out of his way.
Stay out of my way. Just a little deep thinking would drive me to thinking. Just taking it easy.
It's a lazy day.
It's my lazy day. I'm a-finding it so easy.
Finding it easy.
To mind my own business.
Mind his own business.
I'm keeping my nose out
Of everyone's way.
of everyone's way. Ain't taking no orders.
Taking no orders.
I ain't hiring no people.
Hiring no people.
Just taking it easy.
It's a lazy day.
I ain't asking no questions.
Asking no questions.
I ain't giving advice.
Giving advice.
I ain't dating no women.
Ain't you wanting to play?
I ain't wanting to play. I'm just gonna look stupid.
Gonna look stupid.
Don't wanna meet Cupid.
Don't wanna meet Cupid.
Just taking it easy.
It's a lazy day.
It's my lazy day.
Well, thank you very much there, Froggy. And now, boys and girls, I'd like to sing a song, especially for the folks back there where there's a lot of snow. It's a favorite of mine, and I hope it's one of yours, too. Springtime in the Rockies. When it's springtime in the Rockies, I am coming back to you, little sweetheart of the mountain, with your bonny eyes of blue. Once again I'll say I love you, while the birds sing all the day. When it's springtime in the Rockies, far away. All right, folks, come on now, gather around. Let's all sing it together, huh? Here we go. When it's springtime in the Rockies, I am coming back to you, little sweetheart of the mountain, with your bonny eyes of blue.
Thanks, Gene Autry and all your gang, for the kind of singing we all like to hear anytime. Well, that closes the gate on the old corral for today, but we'll be back real soon. This is your Roundup foreman, Big Jack Little, saying so long, everybody, and take care of yourself. And Bob Morrison, have you got something to say?
Yes, I have, Jack. The finishing touches have to be put on now, and those come to the words of, "This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education."
Come along now to Melody Roundup.
Hello there. This is your ranch foreman, Big Jack Little, inviting you to join us for a shindig of Western music and song, starring your favorite singing cowboy, Gene Autry.
You stole my heart, but it wasn't steep from the start. It belonged to you. I had some dreams, but I wasn't dreaming, because it seems that they've all come true. I don't know why, I don't know when you wandered by, and darling, I knew then. You stole my heart, but it wasn't stealing. I found my love when you stole my heart. I don't know why, I don't know when you wandered by, and darling, I knew then. You stole my heart, but it wasn't stealing. I found my love when you stole my heart.
Well, thank you. Now, that there is what I call real singing. Yes, sir, old Jonathan Q. Bond puts his stamp of approval on that there.
Well, thank you very, very much, Johnny.
It's all right.
You know, it isn't often that you're so generous with such kind words.
Well, I like to encourage a young feller now and then. Can't tell, someday you're liable to mount to something.
You mean something like Jonathan Q. Bond?
Well, now, I wasn't going to mention it, but a young feller just starting out could learn a lot from me.
Such as?
Well, such as knowing how to make a success out of himself. You know, it ain't easy. Took me years to get where I am today. But look what I've got to show for it. Look at me now.
Yeah, I've been looking for months, and those bow legs haven't changed a bit.
That ain't what I'm a-talking about.
Well, what are you talking about then?
I'm talking about the finer things in life. Refinement and culture.
Aye.
Johnny, what makes you think that you know so much about culture?
I've been reading a book about it.
Oh.
Tells you how to say hello and how to say goodbye, how to get up and how to sit down, and how to drink your coffee, how to sip your soup, and all the kinds of stuff like that there.
Well, did you learn anything?
I sure did. I'll tell you what. You and Lou pretend that you've come over to my house for a spot of tea. I'll show you how a good hostess greets her guests.
You're a host. A hostess is a woman.
Look, who's coming to whose house?
All right, then, all right. Here we come in the door.
Why, my dear Mr. Autry and dear Mr. Crosby, how do you do?
Hiya, Johnny, what's cooking?
I beg your pardon. What is this here cooking you refer to?
The new Mr. Bond doesn't understand that kind of talk,
I
Lou.
see.
You have to say, what scintillating things have you been up to lately?
Oh, is that... tell me, Mr. Bond, what scintillating things have you been up to lately, old boy?
Oh, you know, out of the sack, hit the saddle, then back in the sack again.
Well, that's just about what I thought. You know, I think you better stick to being a cowboy, John.
But I still think that knowing them things is important. I can just hear you now. Now, instead of saying to me, hey, Johnny, go down and saddle up my horse, you would say, John, old fella, wouldst thou be kind enough, at thou's convenient, to put a spot of riding habit on my mount?
Oh, brother. Well, if you don't mind, I'll just keep right on the more direct method. And then I know I'll get some work done. For instance, all I have to say to the Cass County boys is, sing, boys, and they sing like this.
Makes no difference where I roam, there's one place I see. Oklahoma City, that's the town for me. Met the cutest little gal, pretty as can be. Oklahoma City, you've been good to me. I've settled down to married life, start a family tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little Indians bouncing on my knee. When my heart is full of love, happiness is free. Oklahoma City, that's the town for me. We've been around quite a lot in our time. We've seen quite a bit of this country and climbed some places we've been to. Oh boy, it's a crime. Take us back to Oklahoma. Take us back to Oklahoma. Been around from coast to coast, north, south, east, and west. Oklahoma City seems to be the best. Fixing up a bungalow, feather in my nest. Oklahoma City, town of peace and rest. The best is none too good for me, but who could ask for more? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little Indians playing on the floor. When you travel down our way, stop a while and see. Oklahoma, Oklahoma City's for me.
Sir. Well, that's mighty fancy blending there, boys. We'll keep you on payroll for at least another 2 weeks.
Say, Gene, what's this Smiley Burnett's been telling me about him being in the gold rush of 49?
What?
And that's what he told me. But you know that'd make him over 100 years old?
It would also make him the world's greatest, the world's most outstanding and biggest liar.
Well, now, I heard what you said, and I'm just going to pretend that I didn't. What were you two fellas talking about?
The gold rush.
Oh, yeah, the gold rush. Say, this is a lovely day, ain't it?
Say, now, wait just a minute here. What about the gold rush?
Oh, I think it's a good idea. I'll see you later.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah, I just got a phone call. My sister's very sick.
You never had a sister.
Oh, well, maybe it's my brother.
You never had a brother.
Well, maybe it's my mother, and try to get out of that one.
Well, say, what's this stuff that you've been telling Lou Crosby about being in the gold rush of 49?
Well, what's so strange about that?
Nothing, except that it took place 97 years ago.
It did?
It most certainly did.
Oh, maybe your calendar's wrong.
Go on, tell him what you told me, Smiley.
Yeah, come on, Smiley. Tell me what you told Lou.
The very same thing?
The very same thing.
Well, all right, since you insist, I will. Well, one day, me and a friend of mine named Schwartz from Dallas was minding our own business in a little town of Gnawbone, Texas.
And what was this business you were minding?
Well, a couple of my friends was out to a show, and we was minding their baby.
That's just what I thought. All right, go on with your story.
Well, all of a sudden, we got a telephone call that gold had been discovered in California.
Oh, hold it just 1 minute.
No.
They didn't even have telephones in those days.
They didn't? Well, maybe that's why when I said hello, nobody answered.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Well, anyway, me and Schwartz...
From Dallas.
Yeah, we packed up and left for California. When we got there, prospectors was panning gold as fast as their hands would let them. There was so many carats, they was using them in salad. Well, Schwartz...
From Dallas.
Yeah, that's the same one. We found ourselves a stream and started panning for ourselves. 3 weeks later, we started back to Gnawbone. Our pockets and satchels crammed with solid gold nuggets. Soon I became known as Nugget Burnett.
From Gnawbone.
Yeah. Same sort. The city put up a statue of me in the park, and mothers started calling their little babies Little Smiley. But alas, it happened. You know that was too good to be true.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
One day, I laid my nugget bag down on the kitchen table, and my old lady thought it was a flour bag, and all my nuggets wound up in an angel food cake.
What happened?
Look, solid pure filling. Look at that.
Oh, brother, this is the end.
Yeah, well, you're right. It pretty near is. All except for this little tiny song here that I want to sing.
Well, I guess we might as well get it all over with at one time. Go ahead.
Here I go. Oh, give me some harmony grit.
Can you spare a few more, friend, for me?
And some red sugar-cured ham.
I love that way back on the hog.
Give me a great big bowl of brown flour gravy.
That red eye?
I'd be such a happy man.
Well, I would be miserable myself.
I'd like to see those magnolias.
Ain't they pretty in the spring?
And those pink azaleas in blue.
I can see one now right there in my buttonhole.
Yeah, let me up to that long white table.
Scoot over, fella.
And give me lots of elbow room.
Elbow.
Then pass me those
mammy fried hoagie.
That's some way down this end, boy.
And some good old black-eyed peas.
And Maine, that's beans.
Give me a hay rack full of hot buttered biscuits.
Is that a big hay rack, fella?
Make my coffee black, if you please.
I'd admire a little cream.
Won't you feed me a la Dixie?
What about baby?
In a style so grand.
What you gonna have then, boy?
You're gonna have yourself a happy man. Sorghum molasses. You're gonna have yourself a happy man. Well, thank you very, very much, Frog. And now, folks, I'd like to sing a beautiful song for all of our neighbors south of the border. It's a song about a boy and girl and how they fell in love. So here is It Happened in Monterey a long time ago. I met her in Monterey in old Mexico. Stars and steel guitars and luscious lips as red as wine broke somebody's heart, and I'm afraid that it was mine. I left her in Monterey without thinking twice. I left her and threw away the key to paradise. My indiscreet heart longs for the sweetheart that I left in old Monterey. It happened in Monterey a long time ago. He met her in Monterey in old Mexico. Stars and steel guitars and luscious lips as red as wine broke somebody's heart, and I'm afraid that it was mine. It happened in Monterey without thinking twice. He left her and threw away the key to paradise. My indiscreet heart longs for a sweetheart that I left in old Monterey. Well, thank you, folks. Thank you.
Well, that does it for today, gang. And now, Big Jack Little, have you anything to say?
Not much, Chuck Harris, except I hope everyone enjoyed our get-together of Western music and song. Before you put on the finishing touch, I'd like to say so long and take care of yourself.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Come along now to Melody Roundup.
Foreman and Big Jack Little inviting you to join us for a shindig of Western music and song, starring your favorite singing cowboy, Gene Autry.
On the sunny side of the Rockies, where the desert kisses the sea, I left my love near the Rockies when we said goodbye tenderly. Though mountains are high and we're far apart, in my dreams I'm with my sweetheart on the sunny side of the Rockies, where the desert kisses the sea. Though mountains are high and we're far apart, in my dreams I'm with my sweetheart on the sunny side of the Rockies, where the desert kisses the sea.
Wonderful, Gene. Just as pretty a song as This Is a Day.
Yes, sir, Lou, this is the kind of a day when old Mother Nature's not mad at anybody. She just sits back, takes a deep breath, and blows all the clouds away.
Where does she blow them to, huh?
Hello, Johnny. Well, Lou and I were just talking about what a beautiful day it is.
Why, it's this day every day of the week in Oklahoma.
Yeah, no clouds, no rain, no nothing. Not even sunshine.
Say, were you born in Oklahoma, Johnny?
You mean to tell me you ain't never heard of the Oklahoma bonds around Marietta?
Well, no, I can't honestly say that I have. Were they famous?
Was they famous, he says. Why, my papa was the first man to cross an Oklahoma kangaroo with a raccoon.
A kangaroo and a raccoon. What'd he get? Fur coats with pockets.
Oh, now look. That sounds like a lot of hooey to me. And anyway, what's an Oklahoma kangaroo got that any other kangaroo hasn't got?
That's a very good question.
Well,
in Oklahoma, the cowboys use kangaroos instead of horses for roping steers.
they what?
I said they use kangaroos instead of horses for roping steers. Now, instead of riding on their backs, they ride in the little rumble seat. You think I'm kidding, don't you?
I most certainly do.
Well, I ain't. Instead of singing Back in the Saddle Again, them Oklahoma cowboys are all singing Back in the KP again.
KP?
Kangaroo's pouch.
Say, this is getting more ridiculous by the minute.
I resent that, partner.
I do, too.
Well, how did you get into this, Crosby?
Look, partner, Johnny there's a friend of mine. You can't talk to him like this.
And what are you going to do about it?
The same thing I did to the last guy who said that. I just drew my old 45 and I fired.
Your 45?
Yeah, the 47s weren't out yet.
Ah, me. With cowboys all over the West and ranches from Texas to Canada, and you two have to settle here. Well, I guess I'm stuck with you, so I'll just have to make the best of it. And in this case, the best seems to be the Cass County boys singing. Gotta get me somebody to love.
I saw long, oh, so long on the prairie. Gotta get me somebody to love. Gotta find one who's tired of contrary. Find someone who will ride by your side hand in glove.
wayside. But I get so sentimental when the breezes sigh and the moon is new, and I close my eyes and I whisper you, and the white-faced cow answers moo, moo, moo. Gotta get someone to love. Nights all alone on the prairie. The prairie better get you somebody to love. See how that moon shines so bright above. Find out or get me somebody to love. Hey, that's right.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, boys. You really gave your all on that one. Ah, me. With Crosby and Bond in a corner somewhere, the old ranch house is again quiet and peaceful. How long can it last?
Howdy doodle, everybody.
Not very long, did it?
Well, hi, Gene, old buddy. How's the world been treating you?
Well, Smiley, tell me, did you have a good time in the big city?
Oh, pretty good, except for all them doggone automobiles. I almost got killed one day, really.
Oh, yeah? What happened?
Well, I was walking down the sidewalk, minding my own business, when all of a sudden a car comes right straight toward me.
Now, wait just a minute here. Didn't you say you were walking on the sidewalk?
Yeah, I did.
And a car came right up on the sidewalk?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's impossible.
I can see you ain't never been to the big city.
Well, what else happened to you?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, I worked at a circus for a couple of days.
Oh, yeah? What kind of a job did you have at the circus?
Well, I had to poke my head through a little hole, and then some people throwed baseballs at me.
Didn't it hurt?
No, I didn't mind them baseballs so much. Boy, it was them kids behind me throwing them darts.
Well, Smiley, I think you're just as full of hot air as you ever were.
Oh, I'm not either. It's just my imagination.
It certainly is. Why, one of the boys was telling me about some ranch that you told him you owned as big as the whole state of Nevada.
I did, huh? Well, that's right, then.
How many head of cattle did you have?
Well, you know, I never bothered to count the heads. I just count their feet and divide by 4.
Oh. You know, I thought going to the big city might help you, but I can see that it didn't. You still have no respect for the truth.
Well, I'll tell you, if I went around telling the truth all the time, I'd be a very dull feller. And if I'm a dull feller, that means I ain't got no friends. If I got no friends, I ain't got nobody to talk to. If there ain't anybody to talk to, well, what difference does it make whether I tell the truth or not? Does?
Well, Smiley, I guess that's one way to figure it. But didn't your mother and father tell you what happens to little boys that tell stories?
Oh, yeah, but I like some other stories that used to tell about Uncle Remus and things.
Uncle Remus? How'd it go?
Well, I don't remember it exactly, but I think it went something like this. Uncle Remus, now Uncle Remus has said, I want you to gather around me here, all you little children, before you go to bed. I just got to give me all your attention, because here's what I got to say. I'll tell you how the animals got that way. The leopard's happy, he got the gout from eating too much that speckled trout. His mammy dreamed of polka dots, and that's how the leopard got his spots. What did Uncle Remus say? What did Uncle Remus say? Speckled trout and polka dots, that's how the leopard got his spots. More, tell us more. Oh, I'll tell you some more, sure. Well, they threw the old fox into a cage, but that brother fox was very sage. He used his tail to pick the lock. That's why they call him the sly old fox. What did Uncle Remus say? What did Uncle Remus say? You heard me. He used his tail to pick the lock. That's why they call him the sly old fox. More, tell us more. What's more? Well, listen to this. Now, the piggy saw his monkey friend swinging by his other end. He tried that same thing on a rail. That's why the piggy's got a curly tail. What did Uncle Remus say? What did Uncle Remus say? He tried the same thing on a rail, and that's why the pig's got a curly tail. And that's how the leopard got his spots. That's why they call him the sly old fox. That's why the pig's got a curly tail. That's what Uncle Remus said.
thank you very much, Mr. B. I'd say that your friend Uncle Remus just knew just about everything that there was to know. But right now, I'd like to sing an old favorite. And I thought maybe on the second go-around that you'd all like to join me. So here we go with that fine old tune, mellow and sweet, Carolina Moon. Carolina Moon, keep shining, shining on the one who waits for me. Carolina Moon, I'm pining for the place I long to be. How I'm hoping tonight you go to the right window, scatter your light, say I'm all right, please do. Tell her that I'm blue and lonely, dreamy Carolina Moon. All right, now let's all join in on this one, huh? Here we go. Carolina Moon, keep shining, shining on the one who waits for me. Carolina Moon, I'm pining for the place I long to be. How I'm hoping tonight you go to the right window, scatter your light, say I'm all right, please do. Tell her that I'm blue and lonely, blue Carolina. In my adobe hacienda, there's a touch of Mexico, cactus lovelier than orchid, blooming in the patio. Soft desert stars and the strum of guitars make every evening seem so sweet. In my adobe hacienda, life and love are more complete. In my adobe hacienda, nestled in the western hills, evening softly murmurs, harmony with whippoorwills. When setting sun says the long day is done, sweet music starts to fill the air.
You know, it's a shame to interrupt that kind of Western music, but time's up for today. I'll just say so long and take care of yourself.
Thanks, Big Jack Little. And now it's time for that reminder that this is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.